This is one of the most interesting Serie A seasons in a while. Mind you, I feel like I've been saying that almost every year now for the past few years as the Serie A continues to get more and more interesting with every passing season. But hey, what's up? I'm Adrian, welcome to Rabonus TV, and today I'll be sharing my thoughts on the upcoming Serie A season, who would have thought, and dropping a prediction for the top 6. If you're finding us for the first time and you find yourself enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more timely content and in-depth explainers. It's free, my friend. Give it a test drive. All right, let's go. One of the teams that will be hoping to build upon last season's achievements is, of course, my favorite and yours, Atalanta. A team I cannot stop talking about on this channel. Last season, they were at times stunning to watch, and without a doubt, given the stature of the club, they were sensational. They scored goals for fun, their attacking style of play was a joy to watch. Sure, they weren't the best defensively, but they were set up to defend from the front and attack quickly in transition. This is something that is uncommon in traditional Italian football, so it has been very refreshing to see. That's not to say that they couldn't defend, however. They weren't a team that could only attack like Sassuolo, for example, another team that was great going forward in the Serie A, but they just couldn't defend, could they? Atalanta was much better than that, and Gasperini will be looking to build upon last season, and considering they have kept their core together, at least thus far, there's a solid chance at that happening. They did lose Timothy Castagne, of course, to Leicester, which is a big loss given his quality, but that, for me at least, is the only real loss of note to their squad. Papu Gomez, Zapata, Muriel, Pasalic's loan was made permanent, Derun, Hatboer, Gosens, Malinovsky, etc. All the boys are still there to try and score as early and as often as possible. Also, the addition of Miranchuk is an interesting one as he adds some legitimate depth to their attacking midfield area and will provide competition for Malinovsky. And of course, and this is almost a signing in itself, Josip Ilicic is back with the squad after taking some personal leave of absence from the squad. We won't go into that too much, a lot of hearsay. Don't know for sure what's going on there. But anyways, recapturing their form from last season will be difficult, but this team has grown from their experience both domestically and in the Champions League, where they were minutes away from the Champions League semifinals. I trust Gasperini and the squad to hit the same heights as last season and finish in third. Napoli is a bit of an interesting one. They're hard to put a finger on them, as there hasn't been much activity at all in the offseason, considering their biggest signing in Victor Osimhen was finalized months ago. That's a great signing that adds some real depth to their attack, and they also have Andrea Pirlo returning from his loan to Spal after scoring 12 Serie A goals last season. Not bad. So I have no doubts about their ability going forward. Still though, rumors of a Milik departure, the latest and strongest linking him to Roma, which, if I'm a Napoli supporter, I don't like that the club is selling to a direct rival for the top 4 to 6 places. They did lose Alain, who I think is definitely a big loss, though he did feature less and less as the disrupted season went on, so perhaps it won't be as big of a loss as I had initially thought. If this had happened last summer, it would have felt like much more of a loss for sure. Gattuso has Napoli well drilled in what they do when they don't have the ball. They're far better organized than before his arrival. Their trajectory in the latter half of the season was great, but Gattuso was always fighting a losing battle as he inherited them at 7th. The squad was fractured. And so as they start on more solid foundations, I think they will definitely make top 6 this year at the expense of Roma. I see Napoli in 6th. In Roma, I like them. They have a fantastic manager in Paulo Fonseca, but I'm not sure that they have done enough to improve their squad. It looks as though they have signed Marash Kumbula from Hellas Verona. No confirmation yet as of the time of filming this, but that's a decent addition to their center back position after losing Chris Smalling. Oh, and of course, they added Pedro from Chelsea on a free. He's getting on in age, but he has been decent, and he will no doubt add a bit of potency to their attack, which they will need as Zaniolo is out with another ACL injury. Dzeko can still score goals. He's still being linked with a move away, but I lack a bit of trust in Mkhitaryan. They haven't lost many players either, which is good. The most notable, of course, being Alexander Kolarov to Inter. I'm a huge fan of Kolarov myself, and despite his age, I think that it's a big loss in quality, as well as Alessandro Florenzi, who was loaned out once again, this time to PSG, after spending the latter half of last season at Valencia. I worry about their defense a bit, and I think that Roma will have a tough time finishing in 7th this season. Lazio. How do we grade last season? By all accounts, they were great pre-pandemic, but following the break, they were not the same Lazio from before. Ciro Immobile continued to bang in the goals from the penalty spot or otherwise, but they didn't have that same quality in defense once they had returned. I worry for them a little bit. And if they end up losing Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, which it looks like they won't, but if they do, then they will certainly suffer, as Immobile will be relied upon even more. It feels like if he doesn't perform, if the opposition can shut him down, then any sort of attacking inspiration is hard to come by within their ranks. Vedat Muriki's arrival could help lessen the load a bit for Immobile, as he scored 15 in 32 appearances for Fenerbahce in the Turkish Super League, and Caicedo will be leaned upon as well. Oh, and a player who let me down just a little tiny bit last season was Joaquin Correa. He improved on his first season with the club, of course, but I think he's capable of more, as I really rate this kid. He's just turned 26, so he should be reaching something close to his best soon, and if he does, he'll give opposing teams plenty of headaches as he plays off of Immobile as the second striker. I picture Lazio dropping one more place this season and taking 5th. And of course, rounding out the top 6 without speaking of the top 2 is AC Milan. Stefano Pioli was an uninspiring signing at first for Milan, and before he had even overseen a single training session, Pioli out was trending on Twitter. But he's proven that he is a good fit for the club. And with the help of Zlatan Ibrahimovic last season, he turned Milan's fortunes around and brought them up to 6th from 13th. A horrid start, but a fantastic way to finish this season, as Milan went undefeated post-COVID break, winning 9 and drawing 3. No losses. Sailmakers and Kjær's transfers were made permanent. Rebic is sticking around. They grabbed Brahim Diaz on loan from Real Madrid, a guy who we really don't know his quality just yet. He hasn't really played much while at Real Madrid or Man City before that, but he will add further depth to their attack. Their biggest signing, no doubt, Sandro Tonali on loan with an option to buy him outright. He was fantastic for the struggling Brescia last season, so seeing what he can do with some more quality around him will be very interesting to me. He's regarded as one of the brightest stars for Italy's current generation, so his signing was a coup for sure. Zlatan played a massive role in Milan's turnaround, not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room as well, no doubt. He helped inspire Hakan Çalhanoğlu to the heights he has flirted with hitting in the past, but consistently fell short of. He was also massive in Ante Rebic's transformation into a genuine goal threat, and on top of that, he has contributed plenty of goals and assists as well. Even at 38 going on 39, he's turning 39 on October 8th, I believe. I like Milan defensively. The addition of Tonali has the potential to revolutionize their midfield and provide more cover for their backline. Still rumors of Bakayoko signing as well, and I like their attack. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Milan will hit 4th this season ahead of Lazio, Napoli, and Roma. I rate them. I think it's going to be one of their best seasons in a long time. And now, Juventus have hired Andrea Pirlo as their new manager, and there are reasons to think that it could be a great success, while the fact remains that he was hired despite not having a single minute of managerial experience. First hired as the U23 manager, and then with Sarri tanking, hired on as the first team manager. He recently finished completing his schooling to get his UEFA A coaching badges, and his thesis was published online for all to read, linked below. It's in Italian, but you can easily copy and paste it in to translate if you so wish to see what he's thinking. There is definitely nothing very revolutionary about it. He's not some football madman, that's going to start playing some early 1900s tactics of 2 defenders, a sweeper, and 7 attackers or something like that. But it spoke of how the keeper must be able to contribute to the build-up play from the back. The center backs are the new deep-lying playmakers. He wants his team to recover the ball high up the pitch and recover it quickly upon losing possession. Now, subscribers will remember the video I did in looking at Juve's problems in the attack. Static midfield that doesn't do anything creative or push forward enough and overlap. The fullbacks tuck in instead of providing width and overlapping with the attackers, etc. And so when looking at Pirlo's attacking shape, this looks to aid that a bit. But I mean, it's easy to want to do all of this. Now, whether Juve have the players to put it into practice, we'll see. Sarri tried and then reverted to a lukewarm hybrid of his tactics mixed with, I guess, remnants of Allegri's tactics. Now, there is a bit of a lessening of expectations in a sense? Was Pirlo just the cheaper option, or do Juve really believe that he is a manager that can grow into something special for the club? It remains to be seen, but as far as changes to the squad go, Artur was brought in place of Pjanic, which I do like. Artur will, in theory, add more creativity to the midfield and try to push the team forward a bit with his passing and runs. Weston McKennie comes in on loan and he will add a ton of hustle to their midfield. He also has some quality as well. Bit of a wild card signing, as I could see it going either way. Just another note, back in 2018, Pirlo spoke of how he liked Aaron Ramsey as a signing for Juventus, so we'll see if he can be more effective under Andrea's tutelage. Then there's Dejan Kulusevski, who was great for Parma last season, scoring 10 and assisting 9. He adds some good width, which again, Juve will need, but Juve's attack will be interesting to see how Pirlo sets it up. Higuain, of course, he's left, as did Matuidi, so will he try yet again to play Ronaldo as a striker, or will Suarez end up with Juve, given that he just passed his Italian exam yesterday, by the time you see this? Today, for me. Regardless, my belief is that they will get a striker in, whether that's a loan of Moise-Kean or the more likely option of Luis Suarez or Edin Dzeko, and that will push Ronaldo wider to the left in his favorite position. The only question again being whether Dybala is played behind the striker or on the right, where Kulusevski likes to play. Defensively, I think Juve will be fine. More time for De Ligt to get used to the Serie A, and I think he'll be even better than last season. Antonio Conte has certainly put a lot of pressure on himself this season. Outburst after outburst last season. It looked as if he was going to leave the club after just one season, down to a host of things. He felt unwanted there because of his Juve affiliation, and the rest of the staff wrote to him to say that they love him. He felt that he didn't have a good line of contact with Steven Zhang, the 29-year-old chairman of Inter, and a little later Zhang was in Italy himself. He moaned enough, and he got the investment he wanted from the club, and now it's time to deliver just as the board has done. Who have they delivered recently? Well, Achraf Hakimi for one. That's an incredible signing, one that came out of nowhere, as he will make that right flank his own ahead of D'Ambrosio and Candreva, who looks to be leaving actually, with Hakimi being able to contribute a ton to Inter's attack. By the way, Ivan Perisic is back with the club as an option on the opposite flank. Raja Nainggolan also returns, another quality midfielder. Alexis Sanchez's move was made permanent, Kolarov was brought in, and they're looking to grab another midfielder. Likely to be Arturo Vidal, but I mean, we'll see. Everything points towards Vidal, a guy that Conte loves, a guy that Conte coached at Juve. Add that to all of the transfers they made last summer and this past winter, Eriksen, Lukaku, Ashley Young, etc. And just look at this depth. This handy lineup was made by GiveMeSport.com, by the way, which I've linked below. But basically, you can see that the amount of depth that Inter has now, plus Sensi is healthy again, as he looked great early last season before a string of injuries rocked his entire season. Defensively, I expect Inter to be the best team in the league, even with the loss of Godin. Potentially. That's yet to be confirmed. Yet, they still have three great center backs in Bastoni, De Vrij, and Skriniar. Kolarov has also filled in as a center back as he has gotten on in age, which may be how Conte employs him, as he doesn't have the legs that Young, Perisic, Asamoah all have for that left wing back position. Oh, and the return of Dalbert. I'm sure Inter fans are overjoyed to see Dalbert back with the club. So talking through all of this and considering how good Lukaku and Lautaro were at times last season, sometimes it felt like if one wasn't performing, it was on the other one to perform, and that didn't always happen. Plus, with the signings that Inter have made and the depth that they have, and with Juve under a brand new manager and having some issues of their own from last season to make right, it certainly feels like if ever there was a time to end Juve's reign in the Serie A, this would be it. In some ways, I am leaning towards Juve as they are serial winners, and that certainly does count for something. Not to mention, their squad is good. On top of that, Antonio Conte is an extremely volatile manager. After a season or two, things start to explode with the clubs or national teams that he has managed. It happened at Chelsea, it happened with Italy, it happened with Juve, and it nearly happened this year, with him genuinely considering quitting Inter. But from all those public outbursts, and with the board backing him, the onus is on him now to perform. He's heaped pressure onto himself, and I do just wonder, if results start to go awry and there's pressure on him, will he crack? And in turn, Inter will crack and have a typical slip up late in the season. Looking at the state of the two clubs, and given that Pirlo is a complete wild card right now, I am leaning towards Inter in first, Juve second. But it's not with 100% confidence that I say that, as I do have a hard time trusting Conte, and who knows, Pirlo could be an incredible manager. But if Inter continue on the trajectory they were on last season, and Conte keeps his cool, and he gets this extremely talented squad firing, they should be able to finish ahead of this Juve team that is, it has a bit of a transitional vibe to them. Inter must take advantage to see this out. So, that's what I think, but what do you think? Juve to make it 10 in a row? Inter to take it? Someone else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new around here, why not stick around and press subscribe? My name is Adrian. I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.